Empathy is overrated, and sometimes it's dangerous. If you're one of those people who walks out of a hard conversation with a friend and can't function for the next 3 hours, what I'm about to say is going to offend you at first. Then it's going to make sense of every exhausted, hollowed-out evening you've had for the past 10 years. Empathy is not a virtue. Sometimes it's a wound. And the fact that yours runs deeper than most people's isn't a gift you were given. It's an instrument you were handed without instructions, and the way you've been using it is probably hurting you. You've lived this scene 100 times. Someone you love starts telling you something hard, a loss, a fear they've been carrying alone. And before they finish the sentence, your chest tightens. Something grabs your throat. Your eyes start burning before you even know why. And it's not your pain. It's not even your story. But your body has decided it is anyway. You absorb it with no say in the matter. And underneath the genuine care, there's a quiet, creeping exhaustion. The sense that you gave something away and don't know how to get it back. Maybe you've called yourself too sensitive. Maybe someone else called you that first, and you just agreed. Forget that. It's wrong. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to dismantle it completely and give you 3 tools you can start using today. The first one you can do in the middle of any conversation without anyone noticing. The third one is why most empathic people still can't sleep at night, even after years of therapy. Stay with me to the end. You'll see why. Here's what's actually happening in your body when you absorb someone's emotion. Your brain doesn't know the difference between their pain and yours. When your friend cries, your nervous system literally starts copying her internal state, her stress hormones, her breathing pattern, the tension in her face. You're not sympathizing. On a cellular level, you are briefly becoming her. This isn't a metaphor. It's measurable in a lab. This is the engine of empathy. It's why you notice the thing that's wrong in a room before anyone says it out loud. It's why people call you at midnight when nobody else picks up. It's an extraordinary capacity, and you should not give it up. But here's what no one tells you. That engine has no off switch. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between her emergency and yours. It fires the same stress response. Cortisol, adrenaline, racing heart, shallow breath, as if you were the one in crisis. And if you're absorbing the emotional weight of the people around you all day, every day, your body is running that response continuously. Not occasionally. Continuously. That's not empathy anymore. That's chronic stress wearing empathy's face. Picture this. It's 9 p.m. Your phone rings. It's a friend. He just lost his job, and the same week his father got a diagnosis nobody wanted to hear. Reaction 1. You absorb it so completely that by the end of the call, you're the one who can't function for the rest of the day. You text him that night and somehow he ends up checking on you. Reaction 2. It hurts. You feel it in your chest, but you can still drive to his place. You can still sit with him for 2 hours without falling apart. You stay yourself enough to actually be useful. One creates connection and lets you act. The other pulls you so far into someone else's nervous system that you lose access to your own. You can't help because you can't locate yourself. You become a second person who needs help in a room that already had one. Researchers have a name for the second state. They call it empathic distress, and it is not the same thing as compassion. This distinction is the difference between burning out in your best years and being able to love people deeply for the rest of your life. Now, before I give you the tools, one warning, because I know what you're thinking. The answer is not to feel less. People with low empathy don't suffer less. They just disconnect faster. They protect themselves by going numb, and that wrecks their relationships, their intimacy, their sense of meaning. The goal is not to dampen this capacity. The goal is to feel without losing yourself inside the feeling. Here's exactly how. Tool 1. The next time someone is telling you something painful and you feel that pull starting in your chest, press one foot deliberately into the floor. Not hard. Just present. Feel the pressure of the ground against your shoe. Don't take my word for it. Do it right now while you're watching this. Press your foot down. Feel where it meets the floor. That tiny shift you just felt. That's your nervous system saying, I'm here. It can't fully copy someone else's state when it has its own anchor in the present moment. You can do this in the middle of a sentence, in the middle of a hug, in the middle of a phone call. The person across from you will never notice, but you will. Now, before tool 2, quick question. Be honest with yourself. How many nights this week did you lie in bed at 1 a.m., running someone else's problem on loop in your head? Drop one word in the comments. Hollow, wired tired, drained. Whatever word fits the feeling that lives in your body after a hard conversation. I want to see if we're describing the same thing. And the second tool is built specifically for that feeling. Tool 2. When you feel yourself dissolving into someone's pain, when the absorption is already underway and the foot trick wasn't enough, say 3 sentences silently to yourself. She is hurting. I'm with her, not her. 3 sentences, said inside your own head while she's still talking. The shift is from feeling as her to seeing what she's carrying. This is the literal difference between a therapist who cries through every session and burns out in a year, and one who stays steady enough to help people for 30. Your mirror neurons will still fire. You will still feel it, but you won't dissolve. Now, tool 3, and I need you to actually hear this one, because without it, the first 2 stop working by the second hard conversation of the week. Here's the trap nobody warns you about. You can ground yourself perfectly during the conversation. You can hold the boundary in your head. You can do everything right, and you will still wake up at 3 a.m. carrying something that wasn't yours. Why? Because the conversation ends, but your nervous system doesn't get the memo. It's still running her stress in the background, like a browser tab you forgot to close, draining your battery while you sleep. At your desk the next morning, at the family dinner 3 days later. The residue doesn't process itself, and this is where every empathic person I know stays stuck, not in the moment, but in the hours and days after. The fix is not mental. You cannot think your way out of this. It is physical. Walk, swim, run, anything where your left side and your right side alternate for at least 10 minutes. Here's why this works. When you walk, your brain gets a rhythmic signal. Left, right, left, right. That signal tells the nervous system, this event is over. You're moving forward. Time to file it away. Without that signal, your brain keeps her stress in an open tab forever. This is the same mechanism trauma therapists use in EMDR. You're not suppressing what you felt. You're completing the cycle your body started during the conversation. 1 foot on the floor, 3 sentences, a walk afterward. That's the whole protocol. Pause the video. Take a screenshot. You'll need it Thursday. And here's the last thing. Most of you watching this have spent a decade thinking the problem was you. It wasn't. The fact that you absorb, that someone else's pain lands in your chest like it's yours, that is not a flaw. It's proof your nervous system does something most people's can't. Most people touch the surface of other people's experience. You go in. That is the same quality that makes you the person someone calls at midnight. The same quality that lets people feel in your presence, like they are finally being seen by someone. You were not built to suffer on behalf of everyone you love. You were built to feel deeply and then act from that feeling instead of being paralyzed by it. You don't need a different nervous system. You just never had a manual. Now you do.